This is a weird quarterback class. Now, I ranked the what I think are the eight best quarterbacks in this class. Now, I left some off because I don't think they're necessarily they don't have the potential to necessarily succeed in the NFL, to even really start in the NFL at a high level. So these are the eight guys that I think could potentially get some valuable snaps at the NFL level, can possibly lead a team to a few wins here or there. So let's get right into it with number eight. Number eight, Quinn Ewers, very good at throwing on the run. Kind of changed his arm slot quite a bit to fit short yardage situations, with which Texas ran quite a bit of. But he kind of, when he has good protection in front of him. He had Cameron Williams and Kelvin Banks in front of him blocking for him, but he would abandon clean pockets way too often against not great competition, and it would lead to a higher sack rate. And then limited size and pocket strength. Oh my goodness, that showed up in the biggest moments you saw against Ohio State. Pocket strength and just a very small overall frame. I don't really see potential in terms of progressing through multiple reads to the next level. He's going to be very well in a very short and not super complex offense kind of centered around the short game. So he's going to really succeed in that area. That moves us to number seven. This is the first of the three Ohio State quarterbacks going on a run here. Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, who played with Ohio State in 2023, played with Syracuse in 2024. Now, he had very questionable decision making when interior defenders were like closing in on him. He threw five interceptions against Pitt in one half. Absolute blowout loss for Syracuse there, but he does play well when he's on schedule, and he does have above average touch with when he does kind of incorporate a good touch. He flips between velocity as well, and it leads to some yards after catch for his receivers downfield. Very fluid mechanics, leads to a solid ball placement. Number six being Will Howard out of Ohio State. Absolutely no hesitation to push the ball downfield and run effectively in goal line or short yardage situations. He's a leader. He elevates his teammates, stands tall in high pressure moments. Arm is strong enough to potentially start in the NFL. This is kind of McCord and Howard are kind of in their own tier where they could potentially be a starter at the NFL level, but not necessarily like Pro Bowl upside. There's not a lot there. Varied his weight transfer quite a bit in his delivery when under pressure. Has almost no off-platform ability and takes way too long to progress beyond his first read. He does progress through his first read, but that's only when he has an unbelievable amount of time. Jackson Dart out of Mississippi is my number five. Prompt decisiveness from him led to his offense kind of staying in rhythm, above average touch. Not a lot of passes were really uncatchable. He stands tall when the pocket collapses from the interior. When he's forced to go beyond his first read, his productiveness plummets quite a bit. His completion percentage, just touchdowns, yardage, the whole shebang. And then he just doesn't have a specific elite trait. Very average arm strength, and his zip on deep passes is nothing to write home about. So that leads us to our number four. These four and five are in the same tier, different from six and seven and different from eight. Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. I'm absolutely betting on the traits here. This is one of my guys here, just solely on the traits, just the athleticism. Literally everything to do with a quarterback kind of goes out the window here. He often gets locked up in pre-snap looks. His hand size may affect his touch, and he struggled with routine throws, especially in the intermediate area, completely taking away any opportunities for yards after catch from his receivers. But this is a top four quarterback. If you get him into a situation where he doesn't have to start right away, like New York, for example, just draft him in the late second, early third. with the Giants with Wilson and Winston ahead of him. It just kind of let him sit and develop as a quarterback in the passing department specifically. Work on that intermediate game with him, get him some NFL coaching, and see how well you can improve that touch because you could get a potential Lamar Jackson out of him if you do it right. It's not locked in 100% always the next Lamar Jackson, but he does have the traits. If anybody is going to be the next Lamar in this draft class and probably even next year, it's going to be Jalen Milroe. He's got the leg drive, he's got the athleticism. Don't let him get in the open field because you might miss him. He could be a running back if the whole quarterback thing doesn't work out. This could be a Denard Robinson kind of maneuver here. So that moves us into the top three. Another tier break after the four here. Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. I'm very high on him. He's another one of my guys. I originally had him at the two slot, but Shedeur Sanders kind of blown me away with the accuracy and whatnot. And then also just the under pressure reps from Tyler Shuck really kind of drew me back to reality a little bit. Often misses wide open receivers when he's sensing pressure. And then he does have a little bit of injury history. It's bone breaks, though. It's not ligament tears. And that makes him the most mentally resilient quarterback in the draft. And he's also very experienced and a proficient passer. Does he have a little bit of limited potential because of that? Yes, but I believe also Bo Nix kind of just proved that attribute wrong when it comes to older quarterbacks. We move to number two, Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado. The best accuracy in the class by far. Third highest accuracy rate and fifth lowest uncatchable percentage nationally out of any quarterback. Resilient under heavy duress, didn't make bad throwing decisions under pressure. Despite the not making poor throwing decisions, he often made poor decisions when it comes to whether or not to take a sack. Took very avoidable sacks in the Big 12. So, underwhelming velocity on his throws. It may not translate as well with NFL windows closing a lot sooner than collegiate windows. Number one, no surprise here, Cam Ward out of Miami. Navigates pocket laterally, extends plays with his legs, and makes off platform throws in a tight windows while keeping his eyes downfield, even when he's pressured. But he does have those like, what are we doing here? Throws and turnover risks when he overestimates his arm confidence. Not great tape against Georgia Tech, I'm going to be perfectly honest. When I was watching that live, I was like, this guy's throwing away his chances of being the number one pick. Nice consistency with throwing based on alignment. This is still the number one quarterback in the class by far, just due to his arm strength and what NFL scouts think of him. We're looking at the next Tennessee Titans quarterback here. No surprise to anybody on Thursday night. We're less than 48 hours from the draft. This is not a slam dunk per se, but definitely a guy Tennessee can rely on for the next 3 to 5 years at least to be serviceable. Like Cam Ward's gonna step in, he's gonna be serviceable with the potential to be elite, but he won't be elite right away. He won't step in and be Andrew Luck. He won't step in and be Joe Burrow, but he'll step in and he'll be like a Kyler Murray. He'll step in and be about where Caleb Williams was last year. So Cam Ward, definitely some things to look forward to in that department. But make sure to like and subscribe. I'm pumping out a bunch of these rankings over the next couple of days. I'm also going to get a final mock draft in probably around when we're live streaming. And then also getting that top 200 big board out that same day. And that'll be that. Thank you for watching and have a good one.